Join us today as we make some chickpea curry in a hurry. This is the recipe I used. I did add some other things to this recipe because I'm extra. I added, I used black pepper, cayenne pepper, red pepper flakes, curry powder, turmeric, onion and garlic powder, pinches of clove, cinnamon and allspice, grated ginger. I used about a tablespoon of that. I used 6 cloves of chopped garlic. I used 1 bell pepper. I used 1 large onion. I used 1 ripe tomato, a can of unsweetened coconut milk, some chickpeas, white potatoes, and I also used some collard greens. Here I start with avocado oil. The recipe calls for olive oil. Whatever oil you use is fine, baby. Don't sweat it. So I want to make sure that my pot is hot before I add the onions in there, because you want to make sure you toast them really, really well. So here you're going to see me add my onions in, and I'm going to do a lot of stirring. You don't have to do that much stirring. I guess I'm just extra. But anyway, you want to make sure your onions are well toasted before you add in your bell pepper, because I just find that it just adds to the flavor of the food. Now, I did stir this pot a lot, but really one of the reasons is because I didn't want my onions to burn, because once they burn, they turn bitter. So once my onions are toasted really, really nicely, I'm going to add in my bell pepper. So in goes the bell pepper and more stirring. Again, just trying not to burn anything, but just to make sure that everything is nicely toasted and that the flavor is developing nicely. Okay, so that now that everything is nicely toasted and fragrant, I'm going to add in my garlic and my ginger. Okay, now at this point, I'm ready for my seasonings, and the goal is to get them to bloom and to get them fragrant and just really smelling really nicely. Next, I'm going to throw in the tomato. Just throw that bad boy in there. Stirring frequently, then the coconut milk goes in, and then I'm going to put in some water. Okay, so next I'm going to add my chickpeas. I like to add those early. Chickpeas don't necessarily soften up to me, but I'm just going to add it. And then I put in about a can of water. Oh no, that's 2 cans, child. But I'm thinning it out because the potatoes are gonna act as a thickener, and not just that. I mean, I'm not too big on the coconut milk flavor being, super thick. So, that's just me. Now, what you see me adding in next is I added in a vegetable bouillon cube. And I added in some Cajun spices. The recipe calls for sea salt. I normally have some on hand. I didn't have any, but I did have some Cajun seasonings, and that all kind of has the same components as I've already added into this dish, so that was fine. Whatever you have on hand for saltiness, if you even like salt, but who doesn't like a little salt at least? And I also added in some lemon pepper right there. The recipe calls for lemon, but I never ever add lemon. I threw the lemon pepper in there just to add some kind of acidic type of flavor on the tongue. Tomatoes add acidity too, but still. Just trust me, it worked. Follow me, come with me now. So I'm gonna let this come up to temperature. And my pot is rolling. Now keep in mind, you don't have to put the vegetable bouillon cube in there. You can, instead of adding water, you can add vegetable stock. But we just use what we have on hand. We do what we gotta do. So here goes the potatoes. You can chop your potatoes however you choose. I like my potatoes to kind of melt away a little in the pot or to cook well enough. But I'm not particular on size. They are all the same size, but at the same token, it doesn't matter if they're big or small, whatever. It's all going down the same pipe. So I allowed my potatoes to cook, and then once they were tender, I added in my greens. Normally I'll use kale. That's my first choice for this dish. The second choice is spinach, and just today I ended up using collard greens because the kale it was brown. So I left it in the store right where it was, baby. Ain't nobody got time for no brown kale. And so I just ended up with collard greens, and it actually turned out very, very delicious. I served this over some jasmine rice, or on the side of some jasmine rice with some naan bread that was just toasted in the oven. And there you have it. Chickpea curry in a hurry. Quick dish. Thank you.